Let's get right into it. Number 7, not just mood swings. Somewhere out there, someone just described bipolar disorder as being moody. That's like describing a hurricane as a bit windy. We all have mood swings. One minute you're fine, the next minute you're mad because your phone battery dropped from 20% to 19% in 3 seconds. That's normal, that's human, that's Tuesday. Bipolar disorder is not that. Bipolar disorder is a serious mental health condition where your brain doesn't just change lanes, it floors the gas pedal in opposite directions. Instead of drifting between meh and okay, it swings between emotional extremes, manic highs and depressive lows. During mania, the brain is basically running on espresso, Red Bull, and pure delusion. During depression, it's like someone unplugged your internal power source and replaced it with a black hole. And here's the part people misunderstand. It's not voluntary, it's not dramatic personality, it's not someone choosing chaos. It's a biological mood regulation disorder. The same way asthma affects breathing, bipolar disorder affects emotional regulation. Your brain uses chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine to manage mood. In bipolar disorder, that regulation system glitches. Think of it like a thermostat that randomly jumps from Arctic winter to desert apocalypse. It's intense, it's exhausting, and it's way more than being a little up and down. Basically, this isn't a personality quirk, it's your brain deciding subtlety is for cowards. Number 6, the mania machine. Imagine waking up one morning feeling like you've unlocked a secret level of existence. You slept 3 hours, you feel incredible, your brain is firing ideas faster than your mouth can speak them. You're suddenly convinced you should start 3 businesses, write a novel, invest in cryptocurrency, and text your ex because this time it'll be different. Welcome to mania. Mania isn't just being happy, it's elevated mood with rocket fuel attached. People in a manic episode may feel euphoric, invincible, unusually confident, or intensely irritable. They talk faster, think faster, spend faster, decide faster. And the scary part? It feels amazing at first. Your brain is flooding itself with reward chemicals, dopamine goes wild, risk assessment drops, the internal voice that normally says, maybe don't quit your job today, goes mysteriously silent. In more severe cases, mania can escalate into delusions, believing you have special powers, a grand mission, or a genius-level idea that definitely requires draining your savings account. There's also something called hypomania, which is like mania's quieter cousin. It's less extreme but still noticeable, boosted energy, reduced need for sleep, impulsive decisions but not fully detached from reality. Here's the twist, people don't always recognize mania as a problem. If anything, it can feel like the best version of themselves, productive, charismatic, unstoppable. Until it crashes. Because what goes up in bipolar disorder doesn't gently float down, it drops. Mania is your brain throwing a party without asking if tomorrow exists. Number 5, the crash. Now imagine the opposite. The same brain that felt electric last month suddenly feels like it's moving through wet cement. Getting out of bed feels like lifting a car. Brushing your teeth feels like a group project. This is bipolar depression. And no, it's not just feeling sad, it's a deep, heavy, sometimes physically painful state. Energy disappears, motivation evaporates. The things you loved yesterday feel pointless today. Sleep gets weird, either too much or not enough. Appetite changes, thoughts slow down, or worse, they turn cruel. Depression in bipolar disorder can be more severe and longer lasting than the manic episodes. It can include feelings of worthlessness, intense guilt, hopelessness, and in some cases, thoughts of self-harm. The contrast is brutal. One phase says, you are unstoppable. The other whispers, you are nothing. And the person experiencing it, they're stuck inside both versions. Here's what makes it even more confusing. The crash isn't always immediate. Sometimes there's a stable period in between. Sometimes the shifts are unpredictable. Bipolar disorder doesn't send calendar invites. It's like your emotional system is on a roller coaster that forgot to install seatbelts. And the worst part? You don't control when the ride starts or stops. Number 4, it's not one size fits all. Plot twist, there isn't just one type of bipolar disorder. The most commonly known is bipolar 1, which involves full manic episodes that last at least a week, or are severe enough to require hospitalization. Depression often follows, but technically, one full manic episode is enough for diagnosis. Then there's bipolar 2. This one includes hypomania, the less extreme version, plus major depressive episodes. No full-blown mania, but the depression can be intense and long-lasting. And then there's cyclothymia, which is like bipolar disorder's quieter chronic cousin. It involves ongoing mood fluctuations, mild highs and mild lows, for at least 2 years, not extreme enough to meet full criteria, but disruptive enough to matter. So when someone says bipolar disorder, they're actually describing a spectrum. Some people cycle slowly, others cycle rapidly. There's even something called rapid cycling, where mood episodes happen 4 or more times in a year. In some cases, shifts can happen within weeks or days. Add genetics into the mix, bipolar disorder tends to run in families, and environmental triggers like stress or trauma, and you get a complex, messy picture. This isn't a neat label, it's a category for a brain that struggles to regulate extremes.
So no.
It's not that one friend who's dramatic. It's a medically recognized condition with different patterns, different severities, and different experiences. Basically, bipolar disorder is less like a single switch and more like a glitchy emotional operating system with multiple error codes.
Number 3, the chemistry chaos. Deep inside your skull, there's a tiny chemical orchestra trying to play a calm, balanced symphony. Now imagine the drummer drank 6 energy drinks, the violinist fell asleep, and the conductor just left. That's a rough metaphor for what's happening neurologically in bipolar disorder. Your brain runs on neurotransmitters, chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine. They regulate mood, motivation, energy, and reward. In bipolar disorder, these systems don't just fluctuate a little, they spike and dip dramatically. During mania, dopamine activity can surge. Dopamine is the reward and motivation chemical. It makes things feel exciting, meaningful, urgent. Too much of it? Suddenly everything feels important. Every idea feels brilliant. Every impulse feels correct. During depression, those same systems can slow down or dysregulate. Motivation drops, pleasure fades, things that once lit up your brain now barely flicker. But it's not just chemicals. Brain imaging studies show differences in areas responsible for emotional regulation, like the prefrontal cortex, your logical CEO, and the amygdala, your emotional alarm system. In bipolar disorder, that communication can get messy. The emotional center can overpower the rational one, or the rational one can shut down when you need it most. Add sleep disruption into the equation, which can both trigger and worsen episodes, and you get a feedback loop. Less sleep fuels mania. Mania reduces sleep. Depression wrecks sleep in a different direction. It's like your brain's circadian rhythm clock got hit with a hammer. This is why treatment isn't just try being positive. Mood stabilizers, therapy, structured sleep schedules, they exist because this is biological, not just emotional. Your brain isn't being dramatic, it's misfiring. Basically, bipolar disorder isn't a personality flaw, it's a chemistry experiment that sometimes explodes.
Number 2, the dangerous myths. Here's where things get messy. Because bipolar disorder has been romanticized, minimized, and misunderstood in about 50 different ways. Some people think mania equals creativity, and yes, during manic or hypomanic states, some individuals feel more productive or imaginative. But here's the part Instagram doesn't post. Mania also destroys sleep, finances, relationships, and sometimes lives. It's not quirky genius mode. It can be reckless spending sprees, risky behavior, impulsive decisions that feel right in the moment and catastrophic later. Another myth? They're just unstable. Bipolar disorder is episodic. Many people with bipolar disorder spend long stretches in stable mood states, working jobs, raising families, functioning like anyone else. It's not constant chaos. There's also the classic misuse of the word bipolar to describe someone who changes their mind or has normal emotional reactions. Your friend who cried at a movie and laughed 5 minutes later? Not bipolar. The weather being sunny and then rainy? Also not bipolar. Throwing the word around casually makes it harder for people who actually live with it to be taken seriously. And here's the dangerous one. They should just control themselves. If willpower alone could regulate bipolar disorder, psychiatrists would be unemployed. Episodes can override judgment, impulse control, and perception. Telling someone to snap out of it during a depressive episode is like telling someone with a broken leg to jog it off. The myths don't just misinform, they isolate. Because when people don't understand what's happening in your own brain, you start questioning it too. Basically, misinformation is like pouring gasoline on an already unpredictable fire. Number 1, living with the extremes. Now here's the part that matters most. Bipolar disorder is serious, it can be disruptive, it can be dangerous if untreated. But it is also treatable. Medication like mood stabilizers and certain antipsychotics can help regulate those chemical swings. Therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy and psychoeducation, helps people recognize early warning signs. Structured routines, especially consistent sleep, can dramatically reduce episode frequency. Many people with bipolar disorder live full, stable, successful lives. The key word is management. Think of it like diabetes of mood. You don't shame someone for needing insulin, you manage it, you monitor it, you adjust when needed. There are public figures who've spoken openly about living with bipolar disorder, like Carrie Fisher, who used humor and honesty to talk about her diagnosis. Her openness helped reduce stigma around mental illness, not because it was glamorous, but because it was real. Living with bipolar disorder often means learning your patterns, noticing sleep changes, catching early signs of mania before it escalates, recognizing depressive thinking before it spirals. It requires support systems, doctors, therapists, friends who understand that "I'm fine" sometimes isn't fine. And maybe the most important thing to understand is this. Bipolar disorder is something a person has, it is not who they are. The highs are not superpowers, the lows are not weakness, they are symptoms. At its core, bipolar disorder is a condition where the brain struggles to regulate emotional intensity. That's it, not evil, not dramatic, not broken beyond repair. Just a brain that needs a little more structure, support, and science. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.